Okay, so today I am excited to introduce to you Michelle Elder. She is a program manager for talent enhancement at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, MEDC, and focuses on retaining and attracting college graduates to Detroit. In her previous role, she served as business development manager to assist Michigan businesses with expansion and growth opportunities. She joined the MEDC in 2009 with 7 years of experience in sales, marketing, and advertising from the private sector. She's a graduate of the University of Michigan with a BS in architecture and a master's degree in urban planning and real estate development. Today she is going to talk to us about leveraging Pure Michigan Talent Connect as a college student, what they have to offer us. I think it's a resource that many people don't know about, so I thank you for coming. And with that, I will turn it over.
Thank you all for having me here today. My name is Michelle Elder, and today I will be sharing with you some of the programs and initiatives that I think are relevant to you. And I understand most of you are juniors, is that right? Raise your hand if you're a junior. Excellent. So most of you are probably familiar with Pure Michigan. Who knows what, seen the ads? At least know, okay. That's what the public seems to recognize the MEDC for. That is only one of the things that we do. Our job is to promote the state of Michigan. The Pure Michigan brand started off as a tourism brand, and because it has been so successful and nationally recognized, we are also leveraging that recognition across many state departments and initiatives. So, the Michigan Economic Development Agency, or Development Corporation, is the state's agency for economic development. So like I said, our job is to promote the state of Michigan, but in addition to that, we have interest in helping to create more jobs here by bringing investment and creating an environment where jobs growth can happen. Some of the programs that I'll be talking to you about is under the Pure Michigan Talent Connect brand. I'll be going over our website, the mitalent.org website, the Michigan Talent Bank, some of the tools on the websites, including the Career Matchmaker and the Career Investment Calculator. How many of you plan on opening your own business or already have opened up your own business? Excellent. So I'll be sharing some of the resources that are available to you through the state and locally. And finally, the program that I oversee is called Livework Detroit, and all of you should have a two-pager right in front of you. The front is a flyer for the first event that we have for this academic school year in November, and the back side is a student ambassador program, which I will dive a lot deeper into further in my presentation. And there's another program called Pure Michigan Opportunity that I'll also be touching on. Have any of you been on our website before? No one, okay. Well, mitalent.org is the web URL, and it is an umbrella for which many talent resources are available to job seekers. Starting October 1st, our website will be undergoing a revitalization of its own. So some of these resources might not look exactly the same, but the tools will still be there. So the first thing that a lot of people go to this website for is to look for jobs. And currently, you'll notice that there's a, right up here, it says it's a job portal. I know some of you in the back can't see. Job portal and Michigan Talent Bank. October 1st, we'll be combining those two systems. The Michigan Talent Bank has been the state's job placement tool for a very long time, and for people that have gone, for those that have been unemployed, you are required to register with the Michigan Talent Bank. The job portal was created to address the needs of a particular type of a job that wasn't, it wasn't the best. The Michigan Talent Bank was not the best tool to be looking for those types of jobs. So we are creating this whole brand new system that hopefully will make it a seamless process for job seekers and for employers. But for now, you can look on both systems until October 1st. And the next two programs that I'll be covering is under Career and Educational. Career Exploration. If you click on the tab that I showed you right here, there's Career Matchmaker and Career Investment Calculator. So on the Matchmaker tool, when you click on that,
Oh, hang on, I'm trying to, is there a, okay, so they need to take notes, but I want them to be able to see your.
okay.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, he's got this. You got this. Put those on, okay. Perfect,
Oh, great.
thank you.
Oh, I can see that better. Can you guys see that better now?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so under Career Exploration, how many of you know exactly what you want to be? What do you want to do after college?
Work at DT, regional engineer.
Oh, wow.
I already got the job.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. And I saw a hand over here. Who wants to volunteer? What are your plans?
I already have my jobs.
Where?
Working for the Department of Defense.
Oh.
Analysis on vehicles.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does anyone not have a job and know what they want to do?
I don't know what I want to do.
Oh, you don't know what you want to do. Okay, well, this is a great tool because you can actually go in and see which jobs are going to be are in high demand right now, how much they pay, and the level of education and work experience that these positions require, and the skills that are required for those positions, as well as an outlook, a forecast for what those demands are in those industries. Like you, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I graduated. It took me quite a while to figure it out. And so, I mean, I wish I had a tool like this to be able to think about as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do 40 hours a week of my life for the rest of my life. But anyway, so you can go, it's pretty interactive. You can search by keywords. You can click by wage requirements, how much education do I have, bachelor's degree, master's degree levels, and what types of skills. Like, what do you like to do? Do you like clerical things? Do you like numbers? Do you like accounting? So you can search by that and use that as a tool to explore what types of careers that you might be interested in. So this is the step 2 of that process where, and like I said, you can go back and change things. So if you're interested in comparing 2 different occupations, you can also do that. This example I put up has accountants and auditors and then advertising sales agents, and you can look at the differences in the average wages and you know, how many years of education and what kind of background you have. And it also drills down to how many years of education do you need and how much will that cost? So these are averages. Obviously, tuition varies from schools and universities. So who was it that wanted to start their own business? Was it you wanted to? So we partner with a lot of local business incubators or accelerators that can help people start their own business. And these are just some of the resources available to entrepreneurs in Southeast Michigan. And I just picked these because of the locations that are pretty close to you all in Southeast Michigan. The Michigan Small Business and Technology Development Center, that resource is available to everyone across the state. This organization is state, federal funded, and it provides a good variety of resources for entrepreneurs. So if you've never even started a business before and you want to know how am I going to incorporate, how do I keep track of my money, you know, what are tax questions about starting a business, they have free or highly subsidized, next to free classes that are available. They also have one-on-one consulting that you could sign up for. to help you start your own business. They also provide services to second stage companies. So even if you own a business right now and you just need that additional consulting to help you grow, to help you get into different industries, to help you diversify, they're also a great resource. And some of these organizations up there, they do each have specialties. So for example, the Detroit Creative Corridor Center, they are in downtown Detroit. Have anyone heard of them before? Oh, excellent. So they're really trying to help creative entrepreneurs get started. There's a huge movement in Detroit right now where we're seeing a lot of arts movements downtown, even getting national attraction from social entrepreneurs and artists. There's a very interesting artist movement in downtown, especially with graffiti art. Have any of you been down to downtown or Hamtramck area? Okay, I see the creative folks are in the back over there. And somebody, was it defense, right? Yeah. Are you familiar with the Macomb Incubator?
No.
Yeah, they, so in Macomb County, there's a whole defense corridor happening there, and that's another resource for defense companies, and that's not all they do either, but that, you know, as an example. Yeah, they would be a really good resource, as well as the SBTDC. And Accelerate Michigan is something I definitely think that you should be aware of. Accelerate Michigan is a business competition, and they have a business competition especially for college students. So if you have a business idea and you're thinking about putting together a business plan, September 27th, that is the due date for that initial application. And there are several other key dates following that, but it's a statewide competition. They have one for regular businesses, but there is a student-specific competition. So I would encourage you all, if you have an idea, get it down on paper, sit through a business writing, a business plan. And I'm sure LTU has some resources here too, but the SBTDC could also be a resource. That is a competition only for college students.
I have a question for regular or grad students. Can they apply too?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I won't go through all of these. I don't know what is relevant to what you're interested in. Do you guys have any questions about entrepreneurial services or anything specific that you're looking for as entrepreneurs? And they'll service anyone from I want to open up a lemonade stand up to biochemical engineering. Okay.
Michelle?
Yes.
The MISD-TV's Small Business and Technology Development Center, when you were talking about entrepreneurs and the services they provide, that's really very interesting because if you think about it, a lot of people would probably have a training. You want to call an attorney, you can call a CPA, and that's not to diss that service because we all need those services. But when you're starting out, a lot of times you don't have a lot of money. So
Right.
that's a really good resource.
Yeah, and at least they can help get you connected to the right services or providers too. For anyone that has just never even touched business before, like don't even know what a business plan is, they actually have a 101 class that I would highly recommend to anybody. That's even if you're a law student graduating from law school and you're thinking about opening up your practice, go to that class. It'll give you kind of the basics of what to think about before you even continue to think about that idea. But that's a great point. And access to capital actually is one of the biggest barriers that we had seen through the last few years, especially with the recession that we were just going under and what was happening with the banks, right? And so one of the key services that SBTDC had been providing was to connect local businesses to capital. Because a lot of the banks stopped lending, and there were, even if you had, say you're a widget maker and your customer wants to order, your customer's creating a brand new TV. Let's just say your customer is a TV manufacturer and you supply widgets that turn on the TV for them. And even during the recession, people might be still buying TVs, and they wanted to they had a huge order of TVs, and you wanted to create more widgets so then you could make money. Well, in order to support that growth, you needed to get money to support your growth by purchasing more material so that you could make these widgets. But the case was that there was no money available to lend. So it's as simple as, how do we help our existing businesses, help them grow when there are these types of opportunities? And that was a huge barrier a few years ago because of what was happening in the lending market. Anyone have questions about that? Okay. Yes?
Do they provide services to conduct like market analysis, like if you're thinking about something?
They're not going to do the work for you. They're not going to be like a consulting service where you pay them to do market research. They will guide you in, how do I do market research? Like, you know, if you want somebody to do the market research for you, you're going to still have to pay for that. That makes sense?
Right. I guess they would provide like a list of companies that provide that service.
They could, but for most entrepreneurs, especially startups, they may not have the money available to do that. So you're going to have to do a lot of that on your own anyways. But if you've never done market research before, then you know, you may need that guidance. So they're really there as consultants to help guide you as a new business startup. And there are a ton of offices in Southeast Michigan here alone. So if anybody is interested, I'll give you my contact information. I can help you get connected. Okay. I actually just talked about Accelerate Michigan, so you can also go under michiganadvantage.org. That is the MEDC's website, and click on entrepreneurs. And you know, I tried to pick out the programs that were going to be most relevant to you, but feel free to browse through our website for other things that you might find speaks to you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about that even after the presentation at a later time. Okay, so the flyers that are on your desk, so how many of you grew up in Southeast Michigan? The majority. I did too. How many of you grew up in the suburbs? How many of you grew up in downtown Detroit? Oh, cool. Okay. Well, Livework Detroit is the information that's in front of you. Livework Detroit is a program that helps to connect college graduates to opportunities in Detroit. It's not specifically focused on downtown Detroit. It says job opportunities in Southeast Michigan. So if you can drive to it, you know, we will want to help you connect to those jobs. The second part of Livework Detroit is that we are trying to share with college graduates, college students, and recent grads, the opportunities for living and working in downtown. The strategy is to promote downtown Detroit to college graduates, because a lot of times, at least from my own experience and many of the other people of my age that I've seen, I didn't know what was happening in downtown until I started working on this program and going downtown for more reasons than just a Tigers game. In the last 5 years especially, downtown Detroit has changed dramatically and still continues to change. So this program is a way for us to bring college students together and kind of make them have fun in downtown, but in one day, what we do is we bus them from their campuses, they network with employers, they meet other young professionals, and they hear from leaders from the community. And when I say community, that's private industry, that's public, that's nonprofits. These are really people that care about the next generation, the millennials, being in downtown and in Metro Detroit. And why is this so important is that we as a state have had a reputation of losing our college graduates. It's about 50% of college graduates in our universities leave the state before or after graduating, and they don't even consider Detroit as a postgraduate destination. When I was in college, most of my friends left, and most of them were from Michigan, but they didn't know about Detroit. And when I was a college student, I had grown up in Southeast Michigan, had been told my whole life by my parents, don't go downtown, it's scary, it's, you know, all this stuff. That wasn't true. Yes, some of it is true, but the thing about Detroit is that it has changed dramatically. There's some misconceptions out there, and this is a program that allows for students to decide for themselves, one, and to also share the misconceptions, because there is misconceptions and then there's reality. So we invite students to go downtown. We take them on a tour. We show them places that they can live and work and play. We take them up in lofts, and a lot of times they realize, wow, I can afford this great loft with granite countertops, and you know, I'm within walking distance to 100 different restaurants, and this loft is only $700. Well, this would be like $2,000 in Chicago. And the other thing too is jobs growth. A lot of people don't know that Detroit is actually one of the fastest growing economies in our country right now. And it's not just the automotive coming back. And the automotive industry is going to do great, by the way. There's pent-up demand for cars. There is international opportunities for American cars. But in addition to the automotive industries, IT is a huge field in Southeast Michigan right now. Our growth in IT is exceeding that of Silicon Valley. And there is a huge jobs gap, or talent gap for jobs in Michigan. How many of you are engineering majors, or you guys are gonna live a great life here? I only wish that I could go back and get my engineering degree, but engineering is an area where there is a lot of jobs opportunities. How many of you deal with computers or want to go into the IT field? It doesn't have to be engineering. It could be a graphic designer, or, you know, a website, application development. That's also a huge field. Quicken Loans, are you familiar with that company? Who isn't familiar with Quicken Loans? Oh, you're all, oh, okay, that's great. So they, you know, they're a part of some of the core companies in downtown Detroit that have created this critical mass of workers during the day. And Quicken Loans, and I pick on them because it's very interesting that they, under the Dan Gilbert family, they now own 10 commercial buildings. And some of the things that I've read in the papers are that, you know, if you had the opportunity to buy Rockefeller Center in Detroit or in New York, would you? You know, 50 years ago? And I think that's the approach that he's taking with downtown Detroit, because we really do see things changing. Look at some of the numbers, for example. In 2010, there was a survey, and it showed that downtown Detroit had an increase of 59% of college graduates that were under 35 years old. And yes, Detroit has been losing a lot of population, but that is the demographic that has actually been moving in. And why that's important is that education levels are directly related to a city's success. So, and there's, it's not just the jobs, it's how much money a household can spend. So if national retailers are looking at places to put their stores, what they first look at is a trade area. They usually take like a radius area of how much money, how much potential money am I looking at of households. So we know that households generally spend, let's just say, 20% of their income on food a year. I have no idea if that's true, but that's how they look at it. And so if there's a market opportunity, then they're going to invest their stores. So that is why it's important that we see more of educated young people move into downtown. If you look at cities across the state, a lot of young millennials will move, not just millennials, but young people move into the downtown and then they end up having families around the suburbs. This has happened to Chicago, to DC, and it can happen to Detroit too. There's a huge movement of young families moving into downtown Detroit too that I know of, just by meeting the people in downtown. So how many of you go to sporting events in downtown Detroit? We're a huge sports city, right? What about just hanging out and eating? Art shows? Festivals? How many of you know people who live downtown? Oh, okay. And are they young professionals, or are they, are they older?
No, they're young, they're not professionals.
Yeah. And some of the, what's interesting is, you know, we've been hearing, there's obviously negative media about Detroit. There always has been as far as I can remember, but things are really changing. Salon.com, which is a national website, they called Detroit the new cool kid destination. And recently, or a year ago, New York Times also did a piece. Richard Florida is doing these series of segments about, video segments about Detroit and how it's really attracting these hipster, artsy, creative people. There's, and we're also been talked about as like the social entrepreneur destination of the nation. So it is really exciting to see some of these new things get talked about Detroit at a national level, not just, you know, somebody who obviously cares about the hometown. So, okay, I want to go back to the program. So Livework Detroit, like I mentioned, we had these public events that are geared towards recent graduates and college graduates. And it's a really like an immersion experience for the entire day. We've had, you know, 100 to 250 college students come out all at once. Last year we had 8 events, and that equated to about 1,100 college students going to all 8 events. And this year we're going to condense those events into 3 public events and doing more on-campus kind of pep rallies on campus. But the 3 public events that I wanted to share with you is, one is November 16th. That's what the flyer is all about. November 16th, we will be partnering with the Michigan Collegiate Job Fair out in Livonia. And for those of you that are just interested in, you know, employer networking, you can just go to that event. The list of employers who are hiring is up on their website, but if you just go on our website, it links to their website. And after the Collegiate Job Fair, we Livework Detroit will move right into the tours of Detroit, of downtown, done by Dhive. Do you know, anyone know who Dhive is? Inside Detroit, does that sound familiar? Okay, Inside Detroit was a nonprofit that was started up in Detroit a few years ago by 24-year-old Jeanette Pierce, a young person who had moved away and come back to the city, and she started her own nonprofit. There was no tour company of Detroit at the time. In fact, there was not any real welcome center in Detroit. So Inside Detroit served as a welcome center and a place to give people tours. At the start of Livework Detroit, which was just a year and a half ago, we were working with Inside Detroit. Well, the community had embraced Jeanette's nonprofit so much, and the Downtown Detroit Partnership was also, do you guys know who that, okay, well, you can, I know we're running on time here, but you can also go to their website to find out more about them. But Dhive is a product of the DDP, and they have merged with Inside Detroit because of a shared mission of bringing young people to Detroit by providing tours. In addition to the tour component, Dhive, so it sounds like beehive, so it's Detroit for D and then it's Hive. Dhive provides not only the tour component, but also the job connections, the living connections. So what happens after that? You know, so if somebody is interested in living and working in Detroit, that would be a great organization to start with. They can provide you know, information about the tours of Detroit, but in addition to that, how do I get further connected into the community? So it's the jobs, it's the living, it's the playing. It's really the playing, because if you're going to live in a city, you want it to be fun, right? So that is a picture of one of the tours that we were on, and we will be going to different neighborhoods at each of our tours this year. So in November 16th, what we'll also do is after the tours, we're bringing in Josh Linkner. Do you know who Josh is? ePrize, anyone know who ePrize is? Okay, it's a marketing company that was in, they're still there in, I think, Pleasant Ridge. But Josh is actually the managing partner for Detroit Venture Partners. Anyone know who the DVP, Detroit Venture Partners, is? Okay, they are a really exciting organization. One of the Quicken Loans family, they are venture capitalists. So they invest in venture firms, or they are a venture firm that invest in growing companies or startups. So they are headquartered in downtown Detroit, and Josh Linkner joined the Quicken Loans family with DVP just a few years ago, and he will be our headlining speaker for the evening. If you haven't seen Josh Linkner, Google his name. He writes a lot for Inc. magazine, so those of you interested in entrepreneurship should definitely know who Josh Linkner is. And we are also bringing in speakers from TechTown and a few others that are in the works. I can't tell you who they are yet because we haven't confirmed it. But it will be a really dynamic panel of speakers, and these are the leaders of the Metro Detroit region. And then at night, and we do feed you, so everything's all inclusive. There is a registration fee. It's the details are on the flyers, but that includes the bus ride, dinner, the tours, everything. And then at night, we're going to go to the tree lighting downtown. Has anyone been to the tree lighting? What do you think? Yeah. Did you go last year? Yeah, I was there last year, too. It really felt like you were a part of a large city. So the intent of our program is to show a different side of Detroit every time. So we hope that you come back. We hope that you make multiple connections with employers. The second event in January, we take students to the North American International Auto Show as a part of that experience. And then March, our season finale, we are partnering with an organization called Detroit Harmony, and they were started up by, guess who? Young professional. And they really want to celebrate the diversity, the ethnic, the racial diversity, the cultural diversity in Detroit by bringing together all these different groups. And they put on an event called the International Experience. And last year there were 700 people at this multi-level international experience, and it was so much fun. A part of the program was that you could vote on community business projects, social entrepreneurial business projects. So you would have to physically show up and you vote for the ones that you got, that you wanted to win, and the winner was announced. There's 5 winners. But the winners are announced at the end of the night. So by then they narrow it down to 5, but it's like a $50,000 prize. And it's just a very cool experience. We liked it so much. We did not participate last year, but I and a few of the members of our team went, and we were blown away by this experience that we wanted to make sure that college students also saw it. Really, in a large city, you do have a lot of access to various cultures, foods, experiences, so that's really what this program is about on the 23rd of March. And you can register for the November event. Registration is required. The January and March events are not up just yet. So, how many of you are in student organizations here at LTU? Okay, what are they? Go ahead. Okay. Oh, I was in AIAS and I was in a sorority once a long time ago. Okay, so the Livework Detroit Student Ambassador can be a student organization here, but it's not. It first started when we started having these Livework Detroit programs, and we had college students that were really excited about it and said, what else can we do? I want to do more with you. This is really cool. And we said, well, can you get your friends to come out to the events? So they started out as being promoters of Livework Detroit events. And we just relied on them on getting the word out about the events and just bringing their friends, because the more the merrier. And so they were student ambassadors. But we quickly realized that they wanted more. They wanted more structure to this name. So the Student Ambassador Program was actually created by a group of 25 college students. We had grown the list of student ambassador marketers up to about 40 students last year across, I think it was 12 campuses at the time. And because they expressed more interest and more responsibilities, we invited them up to Lansing, and they all showed up. And we sat down and went through a strategic planning, visioning process, and we came up with a structure. So if you're interested in leadership, if you are interested in impacting Detroit as a student leader today, you don't have to wait till after you graduate, this is the program for you. How the structure works is that at the very basic level, any college student can be a student ambassador. It doesn't mean you need to do very much other than tweet about it or share it on Facebook or tell your friends to come out to an event. The next level of responsibility is a leader. When you become a leader, that means that you're committing more time to us. So that means starting a student organization or maintaining that student organization. So taking you said a fraternity, right? Which fraternity are you in?
Sigma.
Oh, okay. I think that's the one my husband was in. Sig Up, right? Yeah, cool. So taking that Greek model, I think a lot of people can relate to that, of that national chapter, right? And you have all of these smaller chapters, or the campus chapters, you have a shared vision, but you kind of make it your own. And that's the idea of this program, because we know that every single campus is a little bit different. You all have your own cultures, students, focus. So we want it to make sense for students, and we really want to empower students. So initially this program started up as public events that are fun for college students, but we really want this to be an opportunity to empower students to make a difference in Detroit. So the idea of having these chapters are that you can begin to make your own experiences about Detroit, and the MEDC can financially support that. When I was a student at the University of Michigan, we had a 3-day charrette. And architecture students, you know what a charrette is, right? Does everybody know what that is? Basically like a design process. And it's very intense, and back in the Beaux-Arts days, they would have the charrette, this cart. That's where they got the name charrette. And by the end of a certain time, they roll around, and you have to put your final designs on the cart. My experiences through the charrette in Detroit was horrifying. They put us in this hotel that I won't name what it was, but it was cockroaches. It was bad. It was a bad experience. And I even knew at the time this is not the Detroit that I would want. To make the first impression, I'm trying to get people to realize that it is a Chicago. It is a real American city that has significance, and there are 5- and 4-star restaurants here, but we did not see any of that as college students. So why in the world would I even think about moving there? So that experience stuck with me. In Livework Detroit, we're not just going to show you the best and the brightest and the shiniest places in Detroit. We're going to show you the opportunities too to make a difference. So this program allows students to hopefully create their own Livework Detroit student organization, to create Livework Detroit at LTU, your own organization's outings in Detroit. And what we ask for in return is to promote what's going on in Detroit and share your real experiences. Blog for us, tweet about it. You know, what is the event outside? Is it a Greek week thing? Oh, it's Fall Rush, okay. So use our brand, leverage what we're doing, and tell your friends about it. That's what really the ambassador program is. So, and if you're a leader, this is absolutely the perfect program for you. As leaders, you also have to apply to be a state of Michigan intern. It's an unpaid internship, but that way you get recognized for it. And there's some other perks to that. On the professional, Professor Mercier, I think you mentioned something about professional development, and that's related to this course. That's also something that we are trying to provide our student ambassadors. The training, you know, that strategic visioning process, that was a part of the experience of a student ambassador, but we had a leadership summit for our core group this August, and we brought in public speaking experts, and we hope to bring in more experts about, they also went through a sales presentation about Detroit too, so there are definitely other ways that we want to help our student ambassadors develop as professionals. The idea is that this is a leadership program that will provide a leg up for our ambassadors to give them the best chances of connecting to Detroit employers at the end of the process or during the process. It's a great way to connect for internships in the area too. And this itself is an internship. So I know some schools with students, they require an internship as a part of their program. So this is in fact an internship, you know, but we write it, we can help you write that internship experience to make it make sense for your campus. And I know that there are other student organizations with a Detroit focused. Are any of you on any of those student organizations here on LTU that have a Detroit or urban focus? No? That's the other side of the ambassador program, is that we want to connect with those student organizations. Because it's not about, you know, this is my program, that's your program. It's about if we have a shared interest in Detroit, that we should be leveraging each other's efforts as well. So like I said, the student ambassadors, the one thing is that they are there to help us recruit more ambassadors by bringing by growing that membership, and they also give us, you also give us intelligence about your campus. What is the best way to communicate to students about our events or the message about Detroit? And the leaders are kind of like the president, vice presidents, secretaries, and treasurers of those organizations. They also serve as an intercollegiate board, and that we're still trying to figure out that structure. So if you want to be a part of a state strategy to target college graduates and be a part of that revitalization of Detroit, I don't think you can find that in Chicago, right? You're in Detroit. Okay. The other brand I wanted to mention, I know we're getting close on time here. Oh, 1:45, is Pure Michigan Opportunity. So you kind of get the gist of what Livework Detroit events bring to the participants. Pure Michigan Opportunity is the other brand, not for Southeast Michigan, but for other communities across the state. So it's very similar, but a little bit different. It's based on regional talent needs. So the first event was up in Great Lakes Bay region, and they had a talent gap up there. So we work very closely with local economic development and workforce groups to help them create an event where it includes employer networking, tours of the city, and you also hear from some of the leaders in that community. So that is also another program that's available to you. There is one coming up on September 28th that is also in the Great Lakes Bay region. Does anybody know, anyone familiar with that region? It's actually not that far. So Saginaw Bay City and Saginaw Bay, yeah. It's north of Flint. Midland, thank you. Yep. So that's September 28th. You can find that information at mitalent.org. You look under career events, and it's up on there. And that link also career events, if you're looking for any job fairs, career networking events, that's also a good place to look for local events as well. And it's a great way to discover a different Michigan community if you don't know what's out there. And the idea is that we're tackling, if I get a job here, where will I live? What will I do for fun? So we're trying to connect to talent and keep them in Michigan. And I'll end it with some of the other resources that I think that might be very helpful to you all. I mentioned Dhive. That's their website. So if you've never been on a tour of downtown Detroit recently, like in the last 2 years, you need to go on one. Then they have free tours. So check out their website. They also have job connection tools. They also have, for entrepreneurs, they have something called the Build program, where it was recently launched, and it kind of goes through, you'll notice that some of these entrepreneurship programs, they have similarities, but they go through these classes and they have graduation. So it's very intense, and they just graduated their first class, and each entrepreneur is a little bit different, so it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what type of business that you're in, but they cater to all. The other program, how many of you are graduating this year? I know, okay, you already have a job, so you're done. You're taken care of. Do you have a job? Do you have a job? Yeah, so you're taken care of. Okay, well, you should tell all of your friends about this. Challenge Detroit is a national competition. There are 30 spots. It's a national competition for jobs. And which jobs? What jobs? 30 Metro Detroit employers. They sponsor the spots. So there are 4 days out of the week you work for those employers of the jobs that you apply for, and all these jobs are different. On the 5th day, you participate in a community challenge that gives back to the community, and they are focused on downtown Detroit. It pays $30,000 with a rental stipend per month for the year. At the end of the year, and you have to live in downtown. At the end of the year, the participant is what they call themselves. They decide one-on-one with their employers on what will happen. It is a full-time employment. But check out their website. They're also on Facebook, as we are. Very close partners with a shared mission of increasing that population of educated, bachelor's degree workers in downtown Detroit. Michigan Works, how many of you are familiar with Michigan Works? Great. And I know LTU has a great career service office too. But Michigan Works is also a resource here locally that you can go to help find jobs, resume reviews, consulting, with you one-on-one about how do I find a job or connecting to job opportunities. They are tied into our talent system, like the Michigan Talent Bank that I talked about before. Come Play Detroit. Anyone familiar with that? Intramural sports. So obviously there's a lot going on campus, but when you graduate, to have fun, what are you going to do? Another nonprofit that was started up by a young professional in his 20s just a few years ago, and they have over thousands of members in their community that play volleyball. I'm horrible at sports, so but volleyball, baseball, kickball, all sorts of different leagues. So when you graduate and you want to join a league, they are in downtown, and they serve metropolitan Detroit as well. After 5 Detroit is also started up by a young professional. Her name is Carrie, in her 20s. Wanted to work with downtown Detroit employers to create series of events, social events for their interns and young professionals so that they would stay downtown after 5 o'clock, after they work. Also one of our partners. Any international students? Okay, so the Global Talent Retention Initiative is the GTRI. They are one of our partners and they focus on international students because we want you to stay here after college. We want you to stay in Michigan and give you the information and give Michigan employers the information about retaining you here. One of the talent gaps in our state is surrounding the STEM area, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So those fields we have a huge talent gap in. And a lot of our international students have that background, and our employers need to fill those positions. And obviously, you know, we're also investing in their education when they're here, and they are investing in their education as well. So part of the Global Michigan, Global Detroit is one of Governor Snyder's key initiatives, and international collegiate talent definitely plays a key role in that, not just in Southeast Michigan, but across the state. I think that's it. I know I've given you a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions? I think we're doing okay on time, right?
Yeah, about 7 minutes too.
I have a quick one. For the other events, like you did the Livework Detroit, you tour around town and stuff. Do you do the tours of like the International Auto Show and the other events too?
Yeah, so it kind of plays into the whole agenda. So for the International Auto Show, for example, what we'll probably do is start with employer networking at a location in Detroit. We bus the kids in from various campuses. And it depends on what the needs are. So we have all of these locations at pickup times and locations, but if we say someone is in Western Michigan and we only get one person out there, we may send a service car out there and have them connect with a bus somewhere. So it's a bus, employer networking, tours, and then access to events. So a lot of what Livework Detroit is about to me is providing students with access to Detroit. Does that make sense?
So Michelle, I wanted to point out to you as a class that you have leadership experience as one of your requirements for LDR 3000. This kickoff meeting Friday, November 16th, that 8-hour event would qualify, if you know what I mean, to me it more than qualifies as a leadership experience for you. So if you're interested, be sure to register $10.
Yeah, the early bird before November 9th is $10. And honestly, you guys, the only reason why we charge $10 is that we want students to take this seriously. You know, we've noticed that when we give free events to students, it's like a 40 to 50% show-up rate. And by putting in that $10, after the 9th is $15. By putting in that rate, that show-up rate's like 80, 90% show rate. So that's the only reason why it's there. If you have financial challenges, talk to me. We can work something out.
So do you have to have a certain number of students from LTU to go, or, I mean, if we had one student, you'd maybe send a car or something like that?
Yeah, if transportation's a problem, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
For the first event, it starts in Livonia because the Michigan Collegiate Job Fairs, they've already have all that logistics figured out, so you can park out within Livonia. But one frequently asked question is, can I just meet you for dinner, or I only want to make it to this segment of the event. How do I meet up with you? We really discourage that because this is an immersion experience. Once in a while that does happen. I know some
encourage you to stay with us for